All right, sit back. It is story time. I'm going to tell you the story of how your boy Nerdicane became the sole employee at a GameStop for probably about a week and a half, probably 2 weeks. I've been listening to a lot of stories. People go on YouTube and they tell stories of when they worked at GameStop, and I kind of realized, hey, I've spent some time at GameStop, and I spent time at GameStop at a very interesting point in the company's history. You see, I was never really hired as a GameStop manager. I was hired as a Funcoland manager. I was hired at the store on Johnson's Ferry in Marietta, Georgia, which, ironically, the new house that I just bought is like less than a mile from there. So, that was the first job that I had that I really liked when I got out of the military. And now that I'm kind of permanent and settled, and I live close to that first GameStop area. It's no longer a GameStop anyway. But so I got hired as a GameStop manager, and I worked for a guy named Cameron, and Cameron was awesome, man. He was younger than me, so it was a little weird working, as coming out of the military, working for somebody younger than me who was like barely out of high school. But he was a really cool guy, and it was a really good experience. But Cameron comes to me one day and he goes, "Hey, we just got bought out by a company called GameStop." Now, we didn't know what GameStop was. It wasn't the disgusting behemoth, foul, noxious creature that it is now. So my first question was, what the hell is a GameStop? And he kind of explained, okay, it's this game retailer, it's somewhere out of the Midwest, and they bought Funcoland. And I said, well, what does that change for me? He says, not much. You just, instead of that Funcoland shirt, you got to wear a GameStop shirt. Oh, and we need you to transfer to the North Lake store. So they tell me I'm going to transfer to the North Lake store. And he said, Cameron and the district manager, they both said to help reorganize the store. Now, when they said that, they really should have clarified, because they said help reorganize the store. I'm thinking, go in there, fix the displays, fix the alphabetized things, put the store in order, because a lot of these Funko stores weren't really professionally run and managed, so some of them were kind of a mess. That's what I thought I was doing. So what they didn't tell me is I was there to reorganize the store, as in everybody who was on the inside of the store was soon to be outside of the store, and me and a couple people from outside of the store were about to be inside of the store. So, I show up Monday morning and all happy, slappy, and I show up to this Funcoland and walk in the door, and there's a lady behind the counter, and she's, kind of doing deposits. I say, hey, I'm Nerdicane. I'm here to help reorganize the store. She kind of goes white as a ghost, and I'm not real sure what the hell is going on. She looks at me like I just spit in her coffee. To be honest, it was like a mixture of angry and scared that you don't see from very many people. So she does her thing, she goes to the bank and does the deposits and comes back, slaps the bag on the counter, hands her key in, says, "I'm done, goodbye," and she leaves. Without another word, she leaves. So apparently I tipped them off, because the loss prevention manager was coming in to... The way they did it was loss prevention manager came in and basically, did the old, come on in, sit down, have a seat. And because everybody at that store was stealing. It turns out, as we found out later when we did inventory and checked the records and things like that, across the board, everybody at the store was stealing. So that's what they do. They bring you in, they say, okay, you're going to pay this much, or we're going to have you arrested. Now, nobody deserves to have their life ruined by having a criminal record over a copy of Iggy's Wrecking Balls. So I'm kind of glad that I inadvertently, in my happy-go-lucky, naive sort of way, tipped everybody off that some poop was going down. But so that was it. I call up the DM. I said, hey, this manager just split. She just turned in her key. What the heck's going on? And he goes, well, that's good. We're reorganizing the store. And that's when it hit me. Okay, not reorganizing. They're reorganizing. So throughout the rest of the day, I started getting phone calls like every couple hours. I would get these phone calls saying, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm assistant manager, or, I'm third key, or, I'm an associate. And they would say, I quit. I'm not coming in. And, that's what it was. Everybody was doing that. So the jig was up, and I guess the news was spreading, and all the rats were jumping off the ship. So there I was the only employee of the GameStop, and it was that way for quite a long time. Like, I think about 2 weeks. And, it was kind of cool. I really kind of enjoyed it. It was a dead store. There was really nothing going on because they were so disorganized and they were so bad at their jobs that they had chased off so many of the regular customers. And the regular customers were going to Software Etc. in the mall. Well, plot twist, a few months later, Software Etc. was purchased by GameStop. Oh, sweet. I just saw Focus RS. Anyway, but I digress. But that's how I became the only employee at a GameStop for about 2 weeks. And I guess by default, I was an associate. I guess I went there as a key, which is like an assistant manager. But I guess by default, because everybody quit and I was the only one willing to stay there, that's how I became a GameStop manager. And that was the beginning of sort of my time at GameStop. I was what you call a fixer. That's what the other managers started calling me. I was a fixer. I would go into stores and messed up stores, wrecked up stores, and I would go in and I would fix it. I would fix the staff. I would fix the customer relations. I would fix the inventory and the displays and all that. So I went from that store to the store in Austell, Georgia, which gave me a lot of stories. And then I went to the store in Douglasville, which gave me a lot of stories. So this series that I'm going to do, I'm kind of going to go through and do stories from GameStop and kind of chronicle my rise and fall in GameStop. And I didn't get fired. I quit. I got to the point where there was sort of a glass ceiling, and I could see the writing on the wall that they didn't want to hire gamers. When GameStop first took over all these things, they didn't want to hire gamers. So all the managers that they were hiring were like from a shoe store, or from, they sold tires, or they did something else, or one was an accountant. So I could tell the writing was on the wall, and I was never really, I was de facto store manager at a couple of these places, at all of them, but I was never paid like a store manager. And so yeah, I'll kind of go through the transition and some of the funny stories that I got from GameStop. It was fun. To this day, I refer to it as the most fun job I've ever had in my life, and it was pretty damn fun. As with any job, it has its good days and it has its crappy days, like the day someone's grandmother cussed me out. That was that was the Douglasville store. That's a story for later. But yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I don't know how I'm going to format this. Maybe I'll break out Sketchable and I'll do like little stick figures to kind of play this out, or I think for this one, to save time, I'm probably just going to do stills. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope to have this series going for you, and I hope you guys enjoy it, okay? Bye.